Dubs is 3 weeks old and finally showing an interest in clover. He almost eats clover as much as you do. And he's still trying to figure out what he can and can't eat. Not that, Dubs. Oh, not the phone, Dubs, not the phone. Hey, not my finger, Dubs. Yeah, that's more like it, buddy. Hey, nope, not the finger. Aye.
You could say a Greg Judy style mineral buffet feeder. I've been wanting to do this for 2 years, and I ordered the minerals 2 years ago. They've been sitting in my driveway ever since. That's called proper planning, poor preparation, or just a good idea but not followed through. I'm good at that kind of stuff, but today is the first day. Just rolled it out to them. It's got 14 different minerals, and they can pick and choose which one they want. I'd be very interested to see what they go for heavily. Will kind of tell us what our ground, our soil, is short in supply of, and they're not getting from the grass, and they'll go for it. Right now, they've been crushing the sulfur, so that's interesting. Cows are naturally very cautious and curious, so they're just figuring this thing out one at a time, seeing who's going to be brave enough to give it a lick. My guess is that all these milking mamas are going to go pretty heavily for the magnesium, which early spring grass tends to be low in magnesium. Look at this. This is 5 minutes into them discovering it, and now they're fighting over it. But early spring lush grass is usually pretty short in magnesium, high in nitrogen, and they need magnesium to produce milk. And one of the consequences of not getting enough magnesium is what in the farm business they call grass tetany. In normal people business we call it sick and dead or dying calves. So magnesium is very important. One of the many very important things. I put a little bucket on the one side of that thing so to leave the flap, the weatherproof flap, up so they can get into it. I'm counting on someone with half a brain here to figure out how to open up the other side. I'm sure where there's a will, there's a way. Little Frosty. He's one good-looking dude. Although he's gonna get horns, which I wasn't banking on. Once again, that's a mismanagement on my part, not controlling who was breeding who. Lessons learned. He's still a stud of a calf, but he's going to get horns. So, God keeps reminding me, don't cut corners on management. Got to pay attention to everything in this line of work. This is Shrek. Can you tell the kid's named the animal? Shrek currently has his mouth covered in sulfur powder. They all are going for the sulfur. Very interesting. This here is Eve. No, that's not Eve. That is Eve. There's Shrek. That's Eve. She got a little mud on her butt. I guess that last rain we got. Not used to seeing that, but she must have been sitting somewhere muddy. We try to keep the animals clean. We don't wash them, but by moving them daily to fresh green pasture, they naturally stay pretty clean. But spring rains bring a little bit of mud. Try to keep them moving as fast as we can to fresh pastures. Keep them out of their own mud and their own poop. So here's the mineral feeder. It's on a big plastic sled because I'm pulling this myself. I've seen much larger versions of this made out of wood and pull it with a four-wheeler and chains, but do everything on foot out here. So built out some compartments in it. Use an old conveyor belt. Has a weatherproof top. Got this little bucket in here right now. Keep it up so they can learn how to get into it. I can pop it open from both sides with their nose and get into all sorts of different goodies that the soil and the grass may be deficient in. And then they just drag it onto the next paddock. It's not as heavy as it looks. I'm just trying to look tough. Granted, I do have one shoulder working right now. That's all you need for this. Where there's a will, there's a way. And anything that's going to cause the animals to congregate, you want it on a ridge, not down in the valley. The nutrients can't flow up, so all the poop and pee they put while congregating around the mineral, when it rains, will slowly get washed down the hill and improve the soil rather than putting it right next to a valley. The only place it has to go is into a creek to someone else's land. So get it up on the ridge, let it positively affect your soil more. I really shouldn't be that tired from this. Hey, what's wrong with a little workout out in nature with your animal friends? Hi, friends. And food. Some people may find it weird to call them both friend and food. But I think it's a incredibly healthy way to view this relationship. But do you name your cows? We name them, and the sheep, because it makes it easier to talk about them. When I say, hey, the big black one over there is looking really good, that narrows it down to like 7 of them. So I'd rather say Shrek or Midge or Becky or whoever, which one they are. It just makes it easier. Well, how could you kill something that you've named? Well, easily. When they're this delicious, I almost just got shocked. When they're this delicious, you look forward to eating them no matter what their name is. But by treating them as a friend and not just property, I treat them like I want to be treated. They get respect, they get prioritized, not over everything, obviously, but prioritized over all my other property. They get fresh paddock moves, a green salad bar every day. I clean their water religiously. If you just see them as property, you may let things like that slide, but clean water, fresh minerals, fresh grass makes happy cows, makes delicious cows. So when I know the name of my steak, that's okay. So do the kids. We all love it. It's so delicious. When they're properly taken care of, they yield a meat that is unparalleled. And until you taste it, it's hard to understand just how good it is, which is why we're doing this. There's a lot that goes into it: the minerals, the pasture mixture, the animal welfare, the daily rotations, the pasture walks, just making sure the grass is recovered. There's a million things, and I'm learning little by little. Like 3 years into this experiment, which I would say is no longer an experiment, but a definite way of our life, that there's a lot to learn. A lot of mistakes to be made, a lot of books to be read, a lot of people to learn from. But just try to get a little bit better each day. God is good.